How's it going, everyone? I am back with another video. This is going to be my Patriots Week 13 recap video where we're going to go over the game we just had last night against the Giants, Monday Night Football, break down my key takeaways, thoughts, all that good stuff. So, just general thoughts right off the bat. Very happy with the win. Thought we played very well. Of course, was it a perfect game? Of course not. However, I'm much more satisfied with this win compared to the past couple we've gotten. The Bengals game was kind of an ugly win. The Falcons game a couple weeks ago was kind of an ugly win. Could have lost both of those. I was a bit nervous going into this game with the line injuries. We were missing two starters, Wilson and Campbell, and then Bradbury was sick yesterday. He ended up playing, but we almost missed three starters going against this ferocious Giants defensive line, very talented line. I know they've been a bit underwhelming this year. They also just fired Shane Bowen, so I was a bit worried they may be unpredictable, get a morale boost. The players seem to be relieved when talking about Bowen getting fired when reporters were asking them. The Giants were overdue for a win. We were overdue for a loss. So I was a bit concerned going into the game. Now, again, we performed better than I thought we would. I thought it was going to be a grinded out, kind of a, oh God, like, are we going to lose this one type of game like it was against the Bengals and the Falcons? Not the case. Right off the bat, we were up 17-0 in the first quarter. And then the Giants kind of did get a bit of a momentum streak. They got a touchdown, and then we had a bad play call on 3rd and 1. I didn't like that pass play call by McDaniels, even though besides that, I think he called a really good game. Then we shanked the punt, and the Giants ended up moving it down the field a bit. And then they had a horrible sequence with Yun Ho Koo literally missing the ball and kicking the turf. I've never seen that. That pretty much sums up the Giants organization the past like 10 years. And then from there we got the momentum. We got a I'm trying to remember. So it was 17-0, 17-7. They missed field goal. We got a touchdown after that, and then we got two field goals from I remember. Hang on, we got so 17-0. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. What I'm trying to remember what the hell we did. Anyway, we ended up scoring two field goals and a touchdown. I'm forgetting the exact sequence. I know that at the end of the half we got a field goal. I was a bit surprised that the end of the half, Douglas looked like he could have gotten out of bounds, but he kind of cut it upright, and we could have burned a timeout, taking a quick shot in the end zone, but we didn't. We just settled for the field goal with no time remaining. I understand it. We got all the momentum, settled for three. Don't want to risk too much here. Um, then the second half, we took our foot off the gas. Not too much offense. The Giants did score a touchdown. They got a 2-point conversion on a ridiculous improv play by Dart to cut it to 15. I was getting a bit nervous. We punted them the ball, and then they punted it back to us with like 8 minutes and change left on the clock, somewhere around there. It was in their own territory, but still, down 15 in the fourth quarter. You're 2-10 at this point. What do you have to lose? They also didn't go for it on a 4th and 1 at like their own 40, down 17-0. Or I'm pretty sure it was 17-0. And I think it may have been 17-7. But then anyway, my point is, didn't go for it, or they went for it, and well, they didn't go for it in two questionable times. Um, and they also were running the shit out of the ball. They were getting a decent amount of yardage. It was taking forever, and they were taking their sweet time getting back to the line. They're down 23 and then 15 points, and they were just spamming runs. I mean, obviously you're probably not going to win the game at that point, but you got to at least have a sense of urgency. They're taking their sweet time. Then again, they punt in their own territory, down 8 or down 15 with 8 minutes left in the game. It was like 4th and 8, I think. So some questionable decisions by Kafka there. I think he actually is a pretty good offensive coach. They've looked better since Dart, or well, since Dart started, but since Dayball's been let go offensively, even though they haven't won. Um, but yeah, the line for us held up better than I thought. Honestly, Ben Brown was pretty. I liked Ben Brown even last year when our line was a complete disaster. I liked Ben Brown last year. I thought he filled in for pretty solid for the most part. Had a holding penalty that hurt, but yeah, the line looked good. I was a bit surprised how well it played. Hopefully, we can get Wilson back week 15 against the Bills coming off the bye. And Campbell, hopefully, we can get him back either at the end of the regular season or for the playoffs. But yeah, I don't know what got into our defense in this game. If Rabel said something or anything like that, but they were on fire at the start of this game. Ellis, I'm sure he's going to get drug tested. He had a brutal hit on Dart. It was a clean hit. Dart's trying to, escape down the sideline, get a couple extra yards, and Ellis made him pay. Absolutely blasted him. And then he hit Gunner, our guy, our punt returner, Gunner Olszewski, so hard that the end fell off of his helmet. He was concussed. Hopefully he's okay. Um, Hit some nice plays, and he was with us in the special teams department with punt returns. Uh, but yeah, Ellis had two brutal tackles. Vrabel after the game talks about how the team fed off of Ellis's hit on Dart, and just the energy, just the intensity. They're rallying to the ball immediately. I really liked what I saw from our team tonight. And again, I was a bit nervous going into this game, but they overexceeded my expectations. We won convincingly, and yeah, I was very satisfied with this performance, and we needed this win after Denver just escaped the Commanders to get the 1 seed. So we got the 1 seed back. Now, obviously, we're on the bye next week, and Denver plays the Raiders. You probably imagine they'll win that game and get back the 1 seed, but who knows? I think that 1 seed is going to be huge if we can get it, because if we end up playing Denver in the playoffs, I would feel pretty confident at home against them. I'd really like our chances, but on the road in Denver, I think we still could win, but I would not feel nearly as confident as I would be if we were at home. But don't want to jump the gun. We obviously have to win the division first, which if we beat the Bills week 15, we have the division. We will have clinched the division. Now, there's a bunch of paths, even if we lose that game, to clinch the division. And even if we lose that game, in all likelihood, we should, barring a collapse, win the division. But we'll have to see. We're already at 11 wins. I predicted us to go 11-6 in the regular season, get the 7 seed. So we're already at 11 wins. You've already overseeded my expectations, and I thought I was a bit uh, maybe too optimistic with my 11 wins, but I guess not, because we're, again, barring a collapse, certainly going to get more than 11 wins. And I'm very glad we had the bye, too, because we're getting banged up. We weren't really that banged up till that Cincy game. Hopefully, Score can come back, too. But yeah, we were pretty healthy, and then we got banged up in the Cincy game, and I'm like, yeah, we need the bye. So coming at a good time, even though I would prefer it to be like in the middle of the season. We got the latest bye possible, week 14, but I'll take it. Um, Go through the stats here. So Dart didn't even really do too much because, like I said, they just ran the shit out of the football the whole game. It was like run, 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 even though they're down multiple possessions. And again, not even really a sense of urgency you felt for the Giants, but Dart didn't do too much. I thought he was okay in this game. The run game, that is kind of a concern I have. The run game has been getting going against us. Now, obviously, a big part of that is Milton Williams being out. I think he'll be able to come back either extremely late in the regular season or for the playoffs at the latest. So that'll be a boost for a defensive line in the run game, obviously. But we didn't allow a 50-yard rusher up until the Tampa game. And since then, we've allowed it every week and multiple 100-yard rushers. So would like to see that get tightened a bit. If I'm gonna nitpick a bit here, no, that isn't really a nitpick, but you know what I mean. But yes, of course, Tracy got hurt in this game. He got carted off late. He's on my team. That's a disaster. My season's already lost, but that sucks for him. Hopefully, he's okay. Singletary had some nice rushes in this game. They had they ran a trick play, the first play of the first quarter, fourth quarter for a touchdown. That was a very well executed play on their part. Slayton caught a touchdown pass on it was like a 30-yard blown coverage play for us. Then besides that, a decent amount of receptions, but not too much yardage for their receivers outside of Singletary, their running back. Robinson, 7 catches, but only 34 yards off it. Theo Johnson had a rough game. Got the penalty after Dart got hit, so it was 3rd and 1. Then it went to 3rd and 16, and then he dropped pass, got hit, and then he had an end zone shot that he probably should have gotten. Hawkins did a nice play, but probably should have had it. He had a rough game here. May played absolutely phenomenal in this game. He Now he got sacked 3 times technically, but one of them he was like tackled. To me, it looked like he gained yardage on the play. And it was Abdul Carter's first sack of the season. He had half a sack coming into the game, if I remember right. But I really think he only got sacked twice, but I guess technically he got sacked 3 times. But again, the line for the most part played pretty good. I was impressed by it. Hopefully they can keep it up with the injuries. Well, Campbell, we expect him to be out a while, but hopefully Wilson can come back shortly here. Yeah, May played great this game. Should have hit a 300-yard passing game. Again, he hit Hunter Henry for a touchdown. Would have gave him a touchdown and a 300-yard passing game, but there was offsetting penalties. So that sucked. Another game where May is so close yet so far from 300 yards passing, but he still leads the league in passing yardage because he's thrown for over 200 every game. So that's even more impressive. His consistency there. The run game didn't do too much. Henderson had a couple nice runs in the fourth quarter to help boost that yardage total. But for the most part, the run game, we had a couple nice runs between Henderson and Stevenson, but it wasn't really too much there. Hunter Henry had a really good game. Should have had another touchdown. Mr. Consistency, love Hunter Henry. Stevenson had a catch at the end of the first half that went for a bunch of yardage, so that helped his receiving yards there. Booty had a nice fade touchdown to make it 17-0. Nice balance between our receivers here. Kyle Williams, nice deep ball from May. May's deep passes are just a thing of beauty. Diggs, kind of a quiet game statistically. Matt Collins, same with him. Then Henderson getting a couple catches. So pretty usual, nice balance between all our receivers there. Looking at the team stats here. Yeah, pretty telling of how the game went. We outplayed them in pretty much all the major statistical categories. Giants 0-3 on 4th down. Love to see that. The only thing the Giants did better, they allowed one less sack. Let's see. I guess they had more tackles, but we're on the field more. We ran more plays. All these stats basically suggest a pretty good way of summarizing the game. It's not always the case, but as you can see, we thoroughly outplayed them in most of these categories here. So I would say the stats at a quick glance tell the story of this game pretty well. Again, not the case, but I think it is here. Red zone, that's another kind of critique I have, nitpick, along with the run game. Defensively, that getting a bit worse since Milt Williams has been injured, been out. We have not been too good in the red zone dating back to last week against the Bengals. We had 6 plays from the 1 yard line, couldn't get it in. This game, we had some issues there as well. So would like to see that get a bit better, but I'm sure we'll figure that out. And also the Steelers, even going back to week 3, we had some issues finishing there. Now was 2 of them were turnovers, but had some issues in the red zone still. But yeah, those are just my thoughts and takeaways from the game. Again, very impressed with their performance. I really think we get a good chance at the 1 seed. I honestly think we have a decent chance at winning out. I don't think it will happen. I imagine we lose at least one more game. Although who knows? We still get the Jets and Dolphins. So you imagine we'll win those. So that's 13. And then the other 2 games are Buffalo and Baltimore. Now, on paper, those are going to be tough. But we've already proven we can beat the Bills. And I know they just ran the shit out of football against the Steelers. And, I'm a bit concerned with us giving up a good amount of yardage running. That could affect us. But we're coming off the bye. We've already proven we can beat them. And it'll be for the division. And then Baltimore, even though they've been winning, they've not looked too great since Lamar's come back. And they really show that against the Bengals, getting the doors blown off them on Thanksgiving. So that game looks winnable. So, although Derrick Henry, again, we got to tighten up the run game or he might run wild. Maybe Lamar too, even though he hasn't been running as much since he's came back from his injury. But anyway, yeah, I think we can get the 1 seed. It's going to come down to tiebreakers with Denver. Well, not guaranteed, but there's a decent chance. Hopefully, Denver starts losing and we just keep winning. Obviously, that'd be the best case. We just finish with a better record. But if it comes down to the tiebreakers, that loss to the Raiders week 1 is going to kill us because Denver's probably going to sweep them. But they also play the Chiefs and Chargers. So hopefully they can lose one of those games to help even up the conference record. Although then we would still lose based on common opponents, which is where the tiebreaker is right now. If Denver was to win next week, would be on common opponents. But anyway, again, I don't want to jump ahead of myself here. I think we had a good chance to 1 seed, but got to win the division first, of course. But yeah, those are just my general thoughts on the game. Good takeaways, all that good stuff. But yeah, I will wrap this video up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you did good. I hit on all my bets in this game. Hopefully you guys did good betting, fantasy, picks wise, all that good stuff, as I always say. But I'll wrap this one up here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Take it easy, and as always, go Pats.